This is the number one mistake to avoid if you're a new gym owner looking to get more members. The biggest thing that I see a lot of people doing poorly is what I would call list management or database stewardship. Essentially, it's not retaining the contact information of everybody who comes in through your doors, or not funneling things into your database in a healthy way. So let me make this really practical. I have one of the locations in my fitness business. We have 6 locations. One of my studios has a list of 14,000 contacts. Now that studio is, it's like 8, 9 years old at least right now. And part of the reason why it has so many contacts is because, well, it's old, right? It's been around for a long time. How many gyms or studios do you know that have been around for 10 years? Probably not many. And that has to do with one of 2 things. One, the owner never got to profitability, which is very, very common. That happens all the time in the fitness industry. But there are some really, I would say, predictable fixes for those things. Or 2, that owner did get to profitability and hit this point of burnout like 3 to 5 years in because they built a giant baby of a business that this business could not function without them, and that it needed their constant attention, and they just couldn't do it anymore. No matter how much they cared about their members and their team, they just couldn't do it anymore. So that happens in the fitness industry all the time. But you probably don't know many that have been around for that long, but this one has been around for that long. So part of why there's so many contacts on that list is because of how long the business has been around. That's sure half of it, but there's another part of it that you can control right now. And it's making sure that every single opportunity someone has to connect with you results in them sharing 3 pieces of contact information. And one of them matters more than any others. 1, name. 2, email address. 3, cell phone. Cell phone. Let me just pause on that. The cell phone number is easily the most valuable thing that you can acquire from a prospect or a customer. So in all of your forms, you need to make that a required field, number 1, just to make that really, really practical. Why? Well, cell phone numbers are worth, every single cell phone number that you get is worth at least 20 email addresses, if not more. And I can say this from a point of experience because I've done this with hundreds of fitness businesses around the US, like 600 or 700 at this point, maybe more, where we will work with the list of existing contacts. And if there are primarily cell phone numbers in there, we can produce a tremendous amount of appointments. We have a strategy for waking those people up and getting them to bring people in with them. And over the months and years, your list is going to become more and more and more valuable. I'll tell you, that location that I have that has a list of 14,000 people, we hardly have to run ads at all. And we have more people coming in through the doors than we can handle. We have to be, we're not sandbagging, right? Like, that gym is growing, that studio is growing, and it's growing quickly, right? And it's fun to see. But if we put pedal to the metal and went all out with the number of people coming in through the doors, it would be like 30 or 40% more than the team could even handle. So that becomes incredibly important. So you want to make sure the cell phone number is required in your forms on your website where it says, hey, come by and try us out. Well, you should be saying, where should we text you that free pass, right? If you're inviting someone to come try you out for free, like if that's the trial offer on your website, don't ask for their email address, ask for their cell phone number. It's 20 times more valuable than an email address. So that's a really practical tip. Another one is on your Instagram page or anywhere else in social media that you're posting, hey, come by and try us out. Same thing. Where should we text you? Where should we text you that pass? Where should we text you to help you schedule a time to come by? Where should we text you to give you your free pass? Where should we text your free pass? That type of language, right? Get the cell phone number on the website, on social media, and anywhere else you can think of to do it. Now, every once in a while, I will work with somebody who's like, yeah, we have people fill out liability waiver forms and stuff like that, but they don't have a really great system for tracking that. And they'll lose all of those phone numbers because of it. Or here's another thing that'll happen. Sometimes someone has a great system for tracking phone numbers, and because of, I'll call it like a tech oversight, they won't keep that list and move it through to the next platform. Like if you switch from one CRM to another, right? Like maybe you switch from like GlowFox to MindBody, or from MindBody to DataTrack, or any one of the ones out there, Club Ready to something else, right? Make sure that you retain that list. Download that list, save it as a CSV or an Excel file, hang on to it, because that list is worth its weight in gold, and most people don't know it. And then when you switch over to the new CRM, like sure, upload that stuff, but don't delete that file just in case something happens. I have also seen various things happen in that world that we don't even need to get into. But the point is, guard your list. Keep track of your list. And so those are some of the main things that I see people doing wrong early on that I wish that some of my clients who have worked with me, or some of the fitness businesses that I've personally been a part of, did a better job of in the beginning. There was, back when I was an employee of a gym, in the beginning, they didn't do a great job of communicating with their prospects or working that list of people. And I eventually worked my way up through the ranks and held a position of some importance in this company, and was able to do whatever I wanted with the prospects and things like that. And when I started texting those prospects after, hundreds of iterations, we just stumbled upon a strategy that worked really, really well to wake up those prospects and bring them back in through the doors. And I was like, man, this facility could have been breaking even like a year or maybe more sooner than the amount of time that it took for that facility to get to the point where it was actually profitable. So suffice it to say, do not miss out on the cell phone numbers. The second thing that I see people doing wrong with contact information, well, I guess this would be the third thing, right? Because we talked about managing your list and getting contact information, that's cell phone numbers in the beginning, making sure that you hang on to your contacts and don't leave them in the old CRM that you're canceling. The third thing would be to make sure that with those cell phone numbers, you're connecting with your prospects very, very rapidly. Normally, even just a couple years ago, people would try to follow up with leads within an hour. The problem is that just doesn't work these days. You need to follow up with leads within seconds or minutes, 5 minutes at the most. And what I've found is that if a facility generally gets in touch with their new leads and new prospects within an hour, as compared to a facility that gets in touch with all of their new leads and prospects in less than 5 minutes via text message, there's like usually a 3 to 5x increase in the booking ratio. The booking ratio is leads to appointments. So if you take 100 leads and you get 20 appointments out of those 100 leads, that's like a 20% booking ratio. That sucks. And a lot of people these days are happy with that because they don't understand this like contact stewardship piece. Not many people that I've seen have been teaching this, but the number one thing that matters most is of course the platform, text messages over emails and phone calls every day. But number two, time to contact. That speed to connection. If you're using the right platform, speed to connection is the number one thing that matters. And when we do that, what I see is that we can generally get a 60, sometimes a 70% appointment booking ratio, meaning 100 leads turns into at least a minimum of 60 appointments. So those are some of the top things that I see new fitness business owners doing, meaning, someone who's owned a gym or a studio for less than 3 years and is making a lot of the beginner mistakes, which is normal in that part of the learning curve. And I also see some seasoned gym owners. It's very rare to come across a gym or studio owner that's been around for 10 years or more, but sometimes when you do, they've been in a random corner of the world where they just happened to develop this following and had this very low overhead. And somehow found this corner where they were able to exist for 10 or 10 years or so. And in that case, if someone's been around for that amount of time, I often see them making these same mistakes, not because they're new to the industry, but because the technology that changes month by month by month is new to them. And it's wild, but in the marketing world, in the sales world, in the customer acquisition world, which is, we're in a world where we acquire customers or our businesses don't exist here in the fitness industry. But in that whole customer acquisition world, that world iterates at the rate of technology, which is crazy fast. So I hope that those couple of pointers keep you going in the right direction with getting the most out of the new contacts that you're generating and setting yourself up for success so that over the long haul, you have a business that becomes healthier and healthier and less and less and less dependent on you. So if you want additional help with this stuff, you can check out my book. I'll drop it in a link below. It's called Gym Membership Sales. You can find it in the link below this video. And if you want our help with bringing more people in through the doors, let me know. By the way, if you have questions about this or thoughts about this, drop a comment. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to stick around for the rest of the journey and hear some of the other things that I'll be sharing with you, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.